Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to a rather wet episode of A Walk to Work with Whittaker. Look, we need the rain around here, I am not complaining, and I've got the best umbrella in the world, as bought for me at Christmas by my fiancée. So, Praxeus. I really enjoyed that, I must say, I really enjoyed that. Doctor Who doing a global thriller, and look, when I say global, we're very lucky to have the location filming in South Africa. I know I've said before there are some episodes where I wonder if the money couldn't be better spent elsewhere, but it really helps give the global scale to this episode. Meanwhile, for Hong Kong, we've got a back alley in Cardiff somewhere with some lanterns and neon signs. But look, I think that kind of production technique is perfect for Doctor Who. As for the story itself, look, I think we have another very well balanced script. So Pete McTighe is on writing duties here, again teaming up with Chris Chibnall, as Vinay Patel did last week. Now, last week I speculated that it might be Chris Chibnall writing the arc stuff, while Vinay Patel wrote the sort of Jadoon plot of the episode. I don't see the possibility for such a clear divide here, so I may have been wrong in that regard. Look, much like Fugitive of the Jadoon, maybe this episode benefits from having two writers and two perspectives. We do have some sort of typical, if you like, Chibnall, slightly on the nose dialogue. Like when Ryan's like, look, I don't know what a pathogen is. I think I would have preferred Ryan or Graham to say, what, is that like a virus? And that gets us into the explanation a bit smoother. But I'm really nitpicking here because I generally liked the way the characters were handled. Yaz seems to have something to prove. And, when she decides that she has to go back in and find this object from the aliens that was so important. I love the fact that she figures out it's important because they stop shooting at her. That's very Doctor-ish. When she wants to go back in and find it, I'm kind of surprised the Doctor allows it, but, it's a bit like when the Doctor allowed Cyber Danny Pink to access the cyber intelligentsia. It's like, well, okay, my friend wants to put herself in danger, and it could get me information that I need. Okay, fine. Yaz then follows the alien through the teleport, but it's not a split-second decision. And I like that it's not a split-second decision. Something that continues to impress me about these companions is that they feel more real and believable to me than some of the other companions we've had, because they hesitate and they show fear and vulnerability. And we get that from Yaz, and she does the classic Doctor Who companion thing of being scared and brave at the same time. Ryan, of course, gets some good action early on, teaming up with Jamila, one of the guest characters. And look, they're a bit sparky together. I like them together. Of course, we have poor Gabriella, who is killed early on. Really scary death scene. I really enjoyed that. There's a woman with a beautiful dog walking up, so I'm just going to be quiet as we walk past. But have a look at the dog if you can. Beautiful dog. Really, really scary death scene in that abandoned hospital. And I like the idea that these aliens are using abandoned buildings to do their work in, because it's Doctor Who's thing of taking something every day, an abandoned building, a disused building, they're all over the world, and turning it into something sinister. Now, on the other side of the guest characters, of course, we have Jake and Adam, the estranged policeman and astronaut couple. And look, I think the plot kind of sets us up to think that Gabriella and Jamila might be a couple, but I think we come down on the side of they are just friends who travel together. They're friends and colleagues. They have this YouTube channel. Whereas instead, Jake and Adam are a couple, an estranged couple. But I just find that so well played between those two actors. Jake is a bit down on his luck. He's taking a break from policing. Is it a result of the breakdown of his marriage, or vice versa? Does his marriage break down because his policing career isn't going so well? I like that there's a bit of ambiguity there, because sometimes Chris Chibnall's scripts can be a bit overwritten. You know what I mean? But yeah, they have a really good relationship and journey throughout the story. It just goes to show that the imbalances of character last series, weren't inevitable. You can have an episode that balances these many, many characters and gives them all something to do and lets them all be the focus for a time as well. We also have Suki, of course, the scientist who, spoiler alert, we discover is an alien. And look, I really like her, and I like that the Doctor is so taken with her as a young and enthusiastic scientist, and that's, part of the Doctor's mistake in this. And the Doctor acknowledges that. She's like, oh, why am I such a sucker for a scientist? And the twist being that even though these aliens are, doing these experiments on humans, it's for a pragmatic, not entirely evil reason. And it makes me think of the Vidians in Star Trek Voyager. And yeah, I just really like that distinction. We don't have to have every alien menace being the ultimate evil. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the environmental message, I think this is far subtler and better done than Orphan 55. Now, sorry, bit of production information here. I need to swap hands. Now I've lost the mic. Whoop, and we're back. Yeah, I think tying this in with the microplastics, I was going to say concern, but really it's more of a concern. The microplastics problem, I think, would be a better description. And not necessarily saying, the microplastics are alien. No, it's something we've done to ourselves, which this pathogen rather, then hijacks. And I think that's very clever. I also think it's very clever that the resolution doesn't sort out the microplastics problem. It just sorts out the pathogen problem. Coming to Jake's attempted sacrifice at the end. Look, I've spoken before about how in Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, he has tried to improve diversity in terms of gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, but not always thinking about what you then do with these characters. And we've spoken before about how every queer character on the show either dies or has someone dear to them who has died. So look, as soon as Adam and Jake were confirmed as a couple, I thought, right, well, that's it. One of them's dead. And then Adam recovers. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, this may not happen. And then Jake gets in the ship and he's like, I will fly the ship. I will save everyone. And you just think, oh dear, of course this happens. And then the Doctor manages to save him. My fiance and I, we both gasped. And I don't think my fiance had properly thought about it in terms of that happens to every queer character on the show, but I had. Big truck. And look, big trucks. I'm just grateful to have them survive and have another chance. Also, narratively, it just works where better. Narratively, it works to have Jake survive because Adam has given him this advice on, embracing life and not running away from stuff. And if he dies, he really can't take Adam up on that. And it was just a very sweet moment, and I choked up, of course. Look, one sort of characterization I will criticise, not so much the characterization, but how they dealt with the character, is Aramu, who is the young lad working with Suki, who keeps an eye on the birds. Now, first of all, he does the horror movie thing of, instead of staying next to the door where he can run inside and be safe while he keeps an eye on the birds, no, he walks out to the birds, which he's been told might be dangerous, just so he can get killed. And then the plot never acknowledges his death. Like, when everyone runs for the TARDIS, no one says, "Where's Aramu?" And you know what, I'm sure that is an editing problem. You know, they run out of time. But the thing is, if Gabriella was attacked by the birds and dies, let's say, 12 hours later, there's no reason that Aramu couldn't have been left on the beach, infected with the disease, and then cured by the cure dispersing in the stratosphere. And I think that would have been really nice, especially if the Doctor gets back and kind of goes, "Oh, there you are. What are you doing having a nap?" Or, "Oh, yes, I'm glad the cure fixed you." And someone says, "You didn't think of that." And she's like, "No, but I'm really glad it happened." But look, that's a minor criticism. The explanation of the pathogen is a minor criticism. This is another really rollicking adventure, which manages to pack so much into its runtime and so many characters into its runtime. It's every bit as good as the Tesla episode a couple of weeks ago. I don't think it's quite as good as Fugitive of the Judoon, but that had a big reveal in it. This story doesn't even go for the obvious thing of making the villains the Autons. They're name-checked, but it even has original aliens and an original idea. So yeah, really, really impressed with this. And I'm really glad the way the series is shaping up. The episodes are more like Spyfall and less like Orphan 55. And I apologise to those of you who like Orphan 55. You are totally, totally welcome to do that. I mean, I like Time Flight, for goodness sake. Anyway, I am at work. I would love to hear what you thought of this episode down there in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.